Hey guys, welcome to the new video of MuleSoft online learning. In this particular video, we will be discussing about the cache scope, which is available in Mule runtime, and we will be starting with the concept building, and after that, we will deep dive into one of the demo application. So, having said that, let's start with the official MuleSoft documentation. So, this is about the cache scope. So as the name suggests, like it is being very fundamental to ensure our application is running at the optimum level, and wherever we can cache a particular response for a particular key set which is being referred or queried multiple times, the same response can be cached so that the overall network congestion and the overall turnaround time can be managed. So for that, storing and reusing is being done by using the cache scope. We can use cache scope to reduce the processing load on the Mule instance and increase the speed of message processing within a particular flow. So processing repeated requests for the same sort of information, or processing requests for information that involve large and non-consumable payloads. So when a message processor in the Mule app sends a message to a cache scope, the parent flow expects an output. The cache scope processes the message payload, delivers the output to the parent flow, and saves the output. That is, caches the response. The next time cache receives the same kind of message payload, the scope can offer a cached response rather than making a uh, uh, at the runtime call on the end system again. So this is like one of the example which is being given. So generally cache scope is being used where the timeliness of data is not critical, but the overall time and the processing power is crucial. So we can put any number of message processor within the cache scope and configure the caching strategy to store the responses which contain the payload of the response message and produced by the processing that occurs within the scope. So this is the basic the uh, the meaning of the cache scope and what will be its use case. Then so let me explain like how the caching process works within Mule. So a message enters into the cache scope, and cache scope determines whether the message payload is consumable. The cache scope then generates a key to identify the message payload. This is being done by SHA-256 key generator, and SHA-256 digest is to generate the unique key for the message payload. However, you can also set your custom caching strategy. I am going to display this particular thing as well, like where to configure it exactly. Apart from that, cached responses can also be saved into the object stores. So either in the object store or it could be in memory object store as well. So there is a concept of cache miss and cache hit. So if a particular response is already maintained within a cache, or in other words, if it is already being cached a response in a one of the previous hit, the response payload is being cached, then it is being called as cache hit. Otherwise, if it is a fresh hit to the end system, then it is being called as a cache miss. So cache scope pushes the response out into the parent flow for continued processing. So as soon as the caching scope gets over, the rest of the main flow gets executed. So here it talks about caching strategy. We will be covering it as a part of our demo project. So yeah, this is pretty much of it. Let's start quickly with our demo. I will open Anypoint Studio, and this is the cache scope. Sorry for that. I will quickly open cache scope. So in order to explain this particular use case, consider this scenario. from the listener, we are getting continuous request for a particular account ID, and we want to retrieve the result of that account ID from this particular database. And for the first time, if the same account ID is being referred, then it will be counted as a cache hit, and if it is being not found, then it will be called as cache miss. Okay, in all the scenarios, um, some response is being expected out of this main flow. So let's suppose first time, if we are making a, this is a listener, and there is a post method we have configured in it, and the MIME type we have set is application JSON. After that we are logging it like receive payload, and we are printing the payload basically. After that this cache is being scheduled, and we are setting the variable. So payload account ID, and default we have put down the value as 3. We will be using the same account ID as one of the variable to retrieve the results from the training.accounts table. So this particular table I have already maintained within my MySQL database. So you can see select star from training.accounts, so it gives this particular result set. So I can pick any of these account ID to showcase this particular demo. After that, within the logger, I'm just setting it cache miss. Reason being, if this particular activity is executed, then it means uh, it is a cache miss, because this will be building the cache again for the new set of response. And if this particular select is not being executed, then it means the cache response is being used, and it could be directly available as a part of transform message now, which we are converting to JSON. And finally we are printing the response from select, like what is the payload coming up. Now let me explain the cache strategy. So first of all, how we will create the cache. So you just need to select all these activities basically, and if you right click and wrap in, here you can see it gives the option of cache. So just if you click on cache, this particular block will come up. Now how to configure this cache? So it gives us two options. I will show you both. So let me first go through with the first one. So it is using the default caching string cache strategy, that is in memory object store. So what I will do, I will save this guy, and I will run it. It should not take much time. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions related to like how we have configured the database connectivity, you can refer some of my previous videos related to database connectivity. And also you may want to check out the domain project related video, which I have already uploaded on my channel. So I have used this project as a Domanize project. So from here as well, you can see project domain is domain project. So and one other way is to check, right click over here, go for properties, click on mule project, and in the domain you can see either it will be default or domain project. So it is a domainized project, so that's why I'm picking up this one. So now our application instance is now in the deployed state. Let me hit it from the postman. So this is a post method, and this is our action URL, and this is the payload in JSON format. So four account ID, is it available? Yeah, is for Beeves, and all of the things are coming from Cleveland, Ohio. So this is the same thing we are expecting. I will click on send. You can see some amount of 710 millisecond exactly it took. And if I go for a second time, it's 17 milliseconds. So there is a drastic change in the overall response. Let it go one more time. 19 milliseconds. So anything it is being less than 20 milliseconds as compared to the first one, which was around 719 milliseconds. So let's quickly go to the Anypoint Studio, and we will check what are the logs being logged. To understand it in a better way, I will copy paste all this stuff from here to some editor. So this is the first time run of account ID 4. So it started mentioning like it is a cache miss. This is the receive payload, and after that it is a cache miss, and it has logged the entire message. Second time again we have hit the same account ID, but this time you will not be able to see this cache miss. It is directly prompting from receive payload to the response. Similarly, for the third time, it removed this particular cache miss logger, and from where it is being logged, it is coming up from this particular path. So it means when it is already found in the cache, it just enters into this cache block, and after that it directly goes to the transfer message. It doesn't execute rest of the elements, rest of the message processors. So this was like one of the thing. Let's go with this different caching strategy. So caching strategy, so how you can do, you can just click on plus sign, and after that it will gives this option to set the object store or none, like if you want to set it or not, or default key expression and key generator. Let me explain the one which is already I have configured. So I will go for edit, and here you can see the caching strategy and the object store I have referred as global reference, and global reference of the object store needs to be configured. So that just click on plus sign, and you will come to know about it. Okay, I will save this thing, and this is the global object store configuration, which I have set for standard within a reconnection attempts of 2 with a difference of 2 seconds. You can check the test connection as well. Should be okay. It's showing already in use, so maybe I need to stop the console. Let me clear it up. And object store as well, you can refer like configuration reference is taking this one only, and maximum entries it will allow is 100 with the time to live is 30 minutes, and the expiration of those entries is 60 minutes, that is 1 hour. I will click on OK. I will save this project, it's already saved, and let's try to run it once again. So this particular demo is being created using Mule 4.3.0 and Anypoint Studio 7.5, that is the latest offering from MuleSoft. So our project is now deployed. I will again hit maybe this time I will go for 3. So first check if there is anything with the 3. Yes, it's for marks coming out of California. So let's hit it. 673 millisecond is the average time it took, and I will go for the second hit again, 27 milliseconds, and the third it's again 27, again 24, 21, 20, 15. So it ranges in different parameters, like up to 30 milliseconds we have checked, and the nature will be quite similar. So once it is being matched, let me show you the last entry. So we are checking for 3, cache miss is absent over here, and after that the final response from select, that is printing from this particular logger. This particular logger entry is missed because there is a cache hit available for account id equal to 3. Let's try to hit with 4 once. So since we have restarted our mule runtime or this running instance, so that's why it was a cache miss and cache was rebuilt. So let me again hit with 3, 22 milliseconds, and what about 4, 15 milliseconds. So now both the account ID's response is now cached in our in memory object, or you can say within the object store. But can we check it in the file system level? Yes. So let me try to locate that particular thing. I will go to application instances, right click, show package contents. I will go inside the content, maybe inside the Eclipse. I will go inside the plugins, and I will look for this particular folder, that is tooling server mule runtime, then a timestamp is there. After that I will go inside mule, and here you can see whenever this mule runtime is running on the AnyPoint Studio level, it deploys within this particular folder. So let's try to go up to this level. I will do the get info out of it. I will copy paste this guy, and let me open a new window. So I will do a cd control v, enter ls-mtr. I will go inside mule. I will go for ls-ltr to list down whatever is available. From the second last, I will pick up the cache scope. I will again do a ls-ltr. So here you can see this object store is getting populated. So let's go inside this object store and ls-ltr once again. So this is the 11648. So let's go inside this for something. So I will do ls-ltr again. So here you can see there are two object files being created. Two object files, reason being two different IDs were being maintained. If you open any of these object store file, you will not be able to understand much out of it, but let's try to see what is inside there. So 6d tab. So it shows something like something is persistent object store partition, then the partition thing, and more or less I am not able to figure out much out of it, so better to skip this one now. Apart from that, there is a partition descriptor as well, so let's check this out as well. Okay, this is a file, sorry for that. So here you will see partition object store and partition descriptor, that's it. Nothing fancy over here. I will again show you the path where we have located. So by default it go towards the plugin folder. More in any operating system, be it Windows or on Mac, this particular location file system remains almost same, and after that this is the application name, and if it is using object store, then it will create this folder and the respective entries will be there. So I hope you like this video, and this video will help you to further explore the different caching strategies available, what are the different options we can further explore. So Thanks a lot for joining for this particular session, and stay tuned for next upcoming and exciting videos. Thank you. Bye bye.